Hey, so I just realized that most of my entire message that I was like pouring my heart out to the universe was basically deleted because we lost feed because of the wind. So I'm just going to cover this really quick, and I don't know how much you guys heard already, but this is, I'm coming to you live. I'm here today because my kids are home today because most of the schools in the county have closed because of the winds and the fires, and so many people have been dealing with some huge challenges. And it's amazing because when we know some people personally who have lost their homes due to the fire, and I'm blessed because I see people that have been experienced this kind of trauma, the kind of grief, the kinds of things that they've lost, like not just their home, but like so many of their memories that they've had there, so many so many keepsakes, mementos, like things that their kids have given them, like all sorts of things, that they've lost because of these fires, But this is what I've seen in that kind of scenario. I've seen people like that come from an incredible state of gratitude, and so grateful for the outpouring of emotion and the support and the belief, and how people have come to their aid and brought them food and just been there for them, and that's what friendships and relationships are about, because they transcend the things, right? The material things. So many people spend their time really trying to get after the material things. It's not about the material things. It's about the relationships that you build and the kind of network that you're able to create of people that support you and help you have a better life. So, today we've got to remind ourselves to be grateful for everything, but also, I wanted to talk to you a quick message today, and I hope the wind lets us keep going. I wanted to talk to you a quick message today about time, as we're coming to the end of the year, and, December is, day by day we're getting closer to 2018, and, people are thinking to themselves, what did I get done for this year? And, what do I want to do differently in 2018? There's a lot of things, that as people say that this time of year slows down, in some ways, it does slow down, but I think it picks up in a lot because I have so much that I want to be able to get done and things that I might not have been able to achieve in 2017. Let's really reflect on those things. Actually this weekend we're doing a dream board party at our office in West Hills in California, and the whole point is to be able to focus on what do you want to be able to get done in 2018? What do you want to change? How do you want your life to be different, right? And the ability to be able to stop for a little while and start to create that in your mind, create that vision in your mind of what you want to be able to do and how you want your life to change. You have to slow down for a second to be able to do that. And so we're doing that party, but I think more than anything, like, we have to remember that the time that we have on this earth is precious and it's short, and we don't know how much time we have. So when we waste our time by doing things that don't necessarily move us forward, we're really wasting our life, and we have to start taking our time and valuing it better. So when I was becoming an entrepreneur and I was just starting to get into business, I was still a physician assistant, and I was still in school, and I was had a preceptor who was a doctor, and I was shadowing him, and he was showing me what to do, and I basically was talking to him about wanting to become an entrepreneur, and I wasn't leaving medicine. I didn't tell him I was leaving medicine then, but later on that happened. But I didn't tell him that, but he told me a story that I think he got from Stephen Covey, and it was about a physics professor who sat in front of his class and told them this story. And so he talked to them about, here's a large jar, an empty jar, right? Empty glass jar. And he filled it with a bunch of very large rocks. And he asked the class, is it full? And they said, yes, it's full. And he said, no, it's not full. And then he pulled out a bag of smaller rocks, like pebbles, right? And then he put a bunch of the pebbles into the jar. And they said, yes, it's full now. It's full, absolutely. And he said, no, it's not full. And so then he took out a bag of sand and he poured that into the jar, right? And then they said, okay, now it's absolutely full. After that, after the sand, it's absolutely full. He said, no, it's not full. And then he took out a jug of water and he poured that in the jar, right? And so he said, what's the moral of the story, right? And they said, well, the moral of the story is that you always have more time and you can always fit more in. He said, no, that's not the moral of the story. The moral of the story is that how do you put those things in the jar, right? You don't have room for the big rocks if you put the sand or the water or the small rocks in first. You have to make sure that you do it the right way. So the big rocks are the things that are important in your life. Those are your priorities, right? Your health, your family, your career, right? The things that occupy a lot of your time. Those are the things that are most important. Those are your priorities. So you have to spend your time and make sure that those are the most important thing that you put your emphasis and your focus on. And then you're able to fit in other things, smaller rocks, the sand, the water, right? I heard the story, a take on that one story, which was the water was beer. So like there's always room for a couple of beers with your friends. Is what I heard as one of the take on it. But the whole idea is that you have to make sure that you're focusing on those big rocks first. You got to take care of those big rocks first. If you're getting up in the morning and the first thing you're doing is like answer your emails and your text messages and things like that, you might miss your opportunity to be able to make sure and take care of those priorities. So those priorities have to be what's in your mind, you know? A lot of people now, you know, with everything that's happened in Southern California in the last few days, their priorities, you know, have shifted, right? And so when we come to the end of the year, it's time for reflection and to figure out what you want to be able to do. It's time to start thinking about how you want your life to be different and what are your true priorities, right? So we appreciate you getting on. Today's not a day for questions, but we love you and we're grateful to be, you know, in business. We're grateful to have our family with us. And I'm grateful for the opportunity, you know, that my kids, you know, my kids' school calls and say, hey, they're closed today and tomorrow. So you need to come get them, right? Or you're not able to bring them in. And how nice is it that I don't have to stop and ask my boss for time or, you know, take vacation time or anything like that. I just don't go. And I can still do what I have to do as far as business goes for my house. So I love being an entrepreneur, and that's what I'm here to inspire people to do. So my name's GGinspire. I'm Gillian Giorgio, and be inspired for a great life.